Hello again, how are you? I hope you're well. Look at us, we are zooming through the cosmos. You don't say it like that, it's cosmos, but I just couldn't help myself. We are at 6.95% of the way out of our stellar neighbourhood. It's actually going up reasonably quick. Look, it's gone up quite quickly. It's because we're going very fast, right? Like, very fast. 10% of a light year per second is very, very quick. Like, that's silly speeds, right? Because light has to do 365 days to get a full year's worth of light travel in. We can do it in 36 and a half days. That's incredibly quick. 6%, we're at 6%. No, we're not, we're at 7%. There's a problem with the numbering in this game, I've just noticed. I mean, I haven't just noticed, but I've just had it confirmed. Like, that went from 6.99 to 6.00 to 7.00 to 7.01. That is not how numbers work, game. And, I doubt that the developers will ever see this, but if they do, that's a mistake. It's clearly a mistake that you should probably try and rectify, because, I'll be honest, it's not a good representation of numbers. And while we're at it, I mean, I'm not far enough into the game to know, but I'm thinking the silicon problem might be an issue. I could be wrong, but I'm thinking when you need... Where are we? Hang on. This one? Yes. When you need 4 billion silicon to do an upgrade, that might be a little bit large. Because it's kind of spiralling out of control, if I'm honest. Like, I don't know that there's that much on the planet, let alone, like, available to put on a ship. I mean, what are these, micrograms? I mean, if they're micrograms, I take it all back. But if they're grams, right, 3 billion grams, that's a lot, right? I don't know that anybody could fit it on their ship, 3 billion grams. I don't think you can carry it either. It's a lot of grams. And there's a joke there about, an underside illegal activity that would be moderately entertaining to a lesser person. Which is why I'm giggling about it. So, yes, we can press this button again. Amazing. I wasn't thinking that we could press that button again. This button will be done this episode as well. These won't be done for a little bit. Another little while ways to go yet. But it's alright. Because this is over 50% by a little. Not a lot. It's going to take forever to get to this. Like, forever and ever and ever. Only because, how are you supposed to get that much? I don't understand. I want to press this button again. We can afford it in terms of energy. We can't afford it in terms of energy, that's a lie. We'll get a massive speed penalty. But we are... roughly right, actually. Hang on, let me just double check that. That's 1.15 plus 0.16. 1.15 plus 1.16. Wait, have I mistook something? 1,150,000. This is requiring... Oh yeah, no, I'm looking at the wrong number. This is the wrong number. This is the right number. 115 plus 0.15 is... Oh yeah, so we're only 42,000 short. So the next upgrade here will put us in an energy positive, like a proper energy positive, proper silicon. No. Yeah, well, it means it won't draw silicon or energy stores. Not like we're struggling for energy, apparently. We have all the energy we could ever need. I don't know how that equates to actual energy. It's just the amount of energy we would use compared to the amount of energy we have. It's just silly numbers. Eventually they're going to go over here, which is going to be a problem, right? Yes, actually that is going to be a problem. Interesting. I'm going to press that button to stall on me spending money here or here. Because we're nearly there, right? We could nearly get another 5 and then I'd have to upgrade. So I'm going to upgrade first because we're nearly there, right? I mean, I'm half tempted to just blow all our magnesium and see how far up it goes, because I'm like that. But I'm going to not do that. I'm going to save up for this, I guess. Because we can afford 3, 4, yeah, 4. So once we get to 9 million, we can afford 5 of these, which isn't bad. Well, yeah, it wasn't far off, right? I mean, I was 500,000 off, not 1,500,000 off. So, but that's closer. Wait, oh, it just stalled for some reason. Yeah, come on, do the thing, you can do it, game. There you go, right. We got a 6% chance to gain 20 titanium. I like it. In fact, let's do that. And that. And that. Yes, I know I'm spending a lot of our energy and our iron, but I think it's worth it, honestly, because now we're getting 23 titanium per tick. I refute my previous statement. We get 6% of a chance to get 23 titanium. I'm tempted to just splurge. Wait, is that it? No, it's not it. I can keep buying them. What do we run out of? Iron. Right, that's fine. 110 is enough, right? It'll keep us going for a while. So there must be a way of really getting loads of aluminium, otherwise this wouldn't be a thing, right? Surely. Because why would that be so small if that can go so large? But this will get us to 11% of a chance, right? Which is nice, I like that. Not that we'll be able to afford it anytime soon, let's be honest. That's not going up very quickly. This is probably our next target for aluminium, if I'm honest. Ooh, nearly there with that one. Ooh, I can click that one. That's worth it. I don't know why it's worth it. We're not using that page yet, but when we do use that page, right, let's have a press of the button, right, and then I can press this button. Let's see, that's a massive increase, right? We're at 8,000 astronomical units per second, and let's just watch as it increases. Oh, I can press the button on the thing as well. Like we can really increase our speed. So, I mean, it's still pretty fast, right? And then I switch back to there. We lost 0.9 of an 900 astronomical units per second overall. I mean, to be fair, 740 of those were from this. So we lost only about 150, 100, give or take. Not a lot of astronomical units a second by switching from this one to this one. So that's not bad. But we're playing with this now because of what we need here. And this is quite a lot. 1.7 billion is a lot, right? I guess that calcium will be required for the next place on our map, which is only 100 light years away, right, give or take. What's 2 light years between friends at this point? And we're at 17 billion. We're making 3 million a go, right? So that's a pretty quick production. I mean, we're not making that many of almost any, apart from silicon. This is the fastest generating thing apart from silicon. I wonder what we unlock. It'll probably be a thing here, with any luck. It's got to be a thing there, right? It's got to be. Let's have a look at the distance tables. Yeah, 1 kilometre is 0.62 miles. 1 light year is 63,240 times 150 million. Times 0.62. That tells us how many miles are in a light year. Silly amounts. You have travelled. Oh, it tells us right here. Hang on. That's thousands, millions, billions, trillions, quadrillions. We've travelled 3 and a quarter quadrillion miles. With your total distance, you could fold a paper 75 times. I don't know what that means. Honestly, that makes no sense. At light speed, this distance would take you 204,000 days to travel. I mean, right? I'm not hard resetting it. I'm not. That would ruin my day, honestly. Because honestly, that would be silly. Like really silly. I'm not pressing any of these buttons either. Oh, it just mutes it. Right, well, I was hoping it would do more. I wanted to check our resistances. Oh, I check them in here, really, don't I? That's what this place is for. Right, this is getting silly expensive now. Once we get to 1.35, we don't need to increase this for a while. Honestly. Because 66 million doesn't seem like a lot, but when we're trying to save for 4.7 billion, 66 million makes a difference. Oh, hurry up, you. This number needs to go up quicker. Quicker, I tell you. It won't go up quicker, because we just can't get it to go up quicker. And this doesn't go up quicker. It was going up 2 times. I don't know why it's not going at 2 times anymore. I don't know what I did. I obviously broke it somehow. But it wasn't down to a setting in any of these pages that I can see. Like, none of these have done it. Do you know what I mean? Right, let's get some more of that coming in. More aluminium, please. Terrence. Right, so how much aluminium did we need for this? 19 million. I mean, it's a long way, right? 19 million, and we're only at 6, so it's like we're a third of the way to get 1 more booster. To be fair though, we are picking up stuff here quite quickly. We're nearly at a point where I can put another tick in here, which would be good, because another tick in here means we get more. I don't know, it's probably better to just put it here, right? Actually, it probably doesn't make a lot of difference. We're not going to get to 485 before we get to 1.5 million iron. Yeah. So if I spend it here and here, I mean, I could spend it here as well, because why wouldn't I? It's a nicer number. 120 is nicer than 11. 110, like 11. 11 is not a good number as far as I'm aware. I mean, it's fine if you're a hobbit. But in case you hadn't heard, I am not a hobbit. I don't have hairy feet. I'm not 2'8". Although there's no photos, so you can't prove it. But I'm not. You don't get this sort of resonance for being 2'8", I can tell you. I've met people who are that small, and they don't have this sort of resonance. And they're nice enough, don't get me wrong. Ooh, this sounds like a Prodigy remix. It is. Which one is it? Oh, it is. It's the good one. So I've got 2 that I really like, right? So one is by Pendulum and one is by Anthony David. So this is the Haiti remix, or the Haiti Island remix of Voodoo People by the Prodigy, and it was from a film called Wasabi with Jean Reno. And I absolutely love this piece of music. Oh, it's so good. I think I prefer it to the original by Prodigy, which is a little bit of a, I don't know what the expression that you would say is, blasphemy, heresy, that sort of thing. But, it's such a good version of it. Because I love the original, right? The original was just my jam. But then I heard this and I was just like, because sometimes a cover can, or a remix can do that, you know? I don't know if there's any songs out there that you've listened to that you've heard and just gone, do you know, I know this is a cover, but I prefer it. Like, it doesn't happen very often. Like, who was it? There was a girl band who did a cover of Under the Bridge by Red Hot Chili Peppers, and it was just like, I think they missed the point, because, you know, Under the Bridge is about a farewell to Hilo Slovak, their first guitarist, who died due to a heroin overdose, right? God bless him. And, you know, it was their sort of song about the tragedy that it was. And then this girl band, I can't remember who it was, Sugar Babes or somebody, they did a cover of it. And it was like, okay, I have questions. If you'd indulge me, like, do you know anybody who's gone through that fate? Did it affect you personally? Because if so, I mean, fair enough, can't complain. Like, I've got people who have died in my life due to that sort of thing. Well, I had people, I suppose. They're no longer physically with us, and I'm not even sure they're spiritually with us, because I'm not even sure if there is a spiritually with us available. I've yet to have evidence, and until I get like scientifically provable evidence, like, I've had some weird dreams and I've had some weird experiences. It doesn't mean that I can scientifically and categorically say that there is a spiritual realm. One might want to believe, and I'm not going to say you shouldn't or should. I just would, in order for me to be able to come down on the side of any decision on that, outside of my own personal feelings, I'd like to have some sort of evidence, and maybe that's just me being pedantic or something. Or petty, or foolish, or childish, I don't know. It's probably a bit of all. But, to me, like, you know, you can believe something without knowing it to be true. But knowing it to be, like, being able to state it's true, it's very different from having, like, a belief about something. Like, I can believe that dragons once existed, as much as I like. I haven't seen any evidence outside of myth and folklore. Don't get me wrong, dragons existing would be cool. It really would be cool. I like dragons. Dragons are cool. I mean, they're not. They're quite warm. They're big, scaly creatures that breathe fire. I mean, one would assume that they're quite warm. But on the flip side, they could be cool, and then they'd be great for cuddles, because we're warm-blooded, they're cold-blooded. They'd love it if they didn't want to eat us, I suppose, which might be fraught with peril, right? So I'm not saying if you find a dragon, give it a cuddle, because trying to cuddle crocodiles is pretty risky, and dragons are much bigger than crocodiles. We'd be like a little snack to them. But were they into it, right, that'd be fine, right? You just cozy up, nestle in, give it some pets, scritch it behind its horns, or ears if it has ears. I don't know, do dragons have ears? Depends on which mythology, I suppose. Yeah, this is an esoteric turn, and I apologise for the random mumblings of a mad person. Yes, that's a thing. Dragons, do they have ears? Yeah. You know, people, I see this on TV sometimes. I say TV, I mean random YouTube what's-its. But they ask the question, I heard it first on the radio about, I don't know, 15 or 20 years ago, but would you rather fight 5 horse-sized ducks or 1 duck-sized horse? And I'll be honest, it's always going to be the duck-sized horse, right? Because there may be 5 of them, but have you ever seen ducks? They're very small. They're very small. You can boot one and it will go miles. Well, it won't literally go. Well, it will, because it will take off. If you can kick it, that is. Because they fly and they're pretty evasive. Sneaky little buggers are ducks. Right, but if you're going to pick between kicking one's bum or the other, right, if I'm going to kick the ass of one of those 2 creatures, right, a horse-sized duck, right, ducks are grumpy. And they've got a pretty powerful bite on their bill, right? And, you know, I'm not going to describe it to you. I will just say that their genitalia is corkscrew for a reason, right? And I'm not lying. They have like little corkscrew parts, organs, and one's corkscrew goes one way and one corkscrew goes the other way. And there's a blooming good reason for that. And I'm not going to go into it because it will ruin ducks for the rest of your life. Ever since I found this out, 'cause I used to live with somebody who kept waterfowl, and she had all these ducks and all these chickens and all these birds that lived on water that weren't ducks, apparently. Not swans, though. Not swans. But anyway, and she was like, chickens, they're fine. They're a bit crazy. They eat their own eggs. I'm like, I mean, we all get peckish after birth, but I mean, that's ridiculous. And she was a bit like, yeah, but, you know, ducks, though. I'm like, what do you mean? She was like, you ever wondered why we eat ducks? And I was like, no, not really. I mean, because they're tasty, I suppose. And she was like, no, because they have it coming. And I was like, that's a strong statement. And she was like, yes, but I've kept ducks for like 60 years. And I was like, that's a long time to keep ducks. She was like, yeah. So I know what I'm talking about. I was like, well, I mean, one could say it's experiential data, but I'll hear you out because I'm curious. And she said to me, yes, well, let me show you. And so we went out during mating season to her backyard, which is where the ducks were kept, and I was living with her, so, you know, it was still her backyard. I was renting a room, right? It wasn't my backyard. And she was like, see what they're doing? I'm like, that doesn't look particularly friendly. Do ducks know of consent? Was my question, my immediate question. And she went, no, they don't. They're ducks. And I was like, I mean, that's a valid statement. But I was like, she doesn't, that girl duck does not look into it. She was like, I don't think she gets much of a choice. And I was like, no, it doesn't look like it. There are many male ducks, right? What's the old joke? 9 out of 10 ducks really enjoy procreation time. It's a more graphic joke than that, honestly, but I'm not telling you the proper joke because I don't know you. And what I would say is, if you get the opportunity, eat more duck, because they have it coming. Especially if you agree with consent, right? And you're going to go, what are you talking about? I'm going to say, look it up, right? And if you've looked it up and you come back and go, no, it's fine, you and me need to have a chat. I'm not judging you necessarily, it depends what you have to say, but I think maybe we need to have a chat. And it might be a strongly worded one. You know, like, are you sure? No, but seriously, are you sure? There's a reason why we eat ducks, and I'm pretty convinced that Anne had it right. Oh, wow. Sorry, I didn't mean to get all ducky on you, but they are poultry little bastards as far as I'm concerned. Right, we're nearly there. I've whittled away the time by talking about ducks, but look at that, 650, we're about to transition. Wait for it, ding! We've got a new button. What does this do? So, for 1 million silicone, 35 aluminium, 800,000 iron, some extra gubbins, wait, insert materials cost. Wait, prestigium? What is prestigium? Gain a multiplier to energy for ultra, so based on our prestigium. I don't know. What? I want to press the button. Well, we've got 1 billion of this, right? We've got 800,000 iron. We've got 100,000 calcium. And 150,000 magnesium. We've got 600 million energy. That's not a problem. Is it a problem? I don't think it is a problem. No, it's not a problem. We've got plenty of energy. I'm going to press that button. 40 million water. We've got that, that's fine. 100,000 hydrogen, we've got that too. 2,000 titanium. We haven't got titanium. So each time I click this button, we get 1 prestigium. I wonder what our bonus is. Now, is there I mean, that's fine, whatever. Nearly there for the iron as well. So wait for it, we can do it. We can get to 800 astronomical units per second bonus speeds, which is fast, right? Oh, we're at 20 billion, that's a long way. Still not enough though, is it? Can I afford it yet? 19.13, nearly. Now I think I want to get the booster, but I think what we probably should do is not get the booster. We should buy the Prestigium, because 35 aluminium is a lot, right? No, that's the wrong button. I want to go here. Now, I mean, there's obviously some more buttons to come. 3 more sets or 2 more sets, something like that. Let's see. 1, 2. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 2 more sets of buttons by the looks of things. 8 more unlocks potentially. For all I know, there might be 2 more down here as well. Because we've got the tachyon page. I wonder, actually, what's our speed like? Actually, it's not nearly fast enough. Seriously, it's just not. I'm going to press the button, but that's not fast enough, is it? Right, to go 1,000 light years. That's not going to be quick enough. Just click that button for a bit. 15% nearly. 15% of a light year per second. Ridiculous. Ridiculous speeds. Now, I mean, buying these would be good, right? Because it will increase, right? Because if I do this, look how quick we go. Actually, let's see how quick we would go. I mean, that's pretty fast. We're at 1/3 of a light year per second. But, honestly, that's what we need, definitely. We don't really need the iron to be that much boosted, if I'm honest. Well, hang on, let's have a look at the numbers. I mean, that makes almost no difference whatsoever. I just had it going there for no reason. I mean, +1 is not worth it, right? It's just not. 7 times is very good. +1 is not good for the amount of extra speed we can get. Oh, now I wonder how far it's going to take us to get. Actually, a while by the looks of that. Is that 9%? Are we 9% out of the stellar cluster? That looks like 9%. 9.96. 9.97. We're nearly 10% of the way out of the stellar cluster. I mean, honestly, at this rate, we're going so fast, we might get out of the stellar cluster quite quickly. I mean, that makes no difference now, right? 700. Oh, come on, Arn. Wait, what? Oh, it's the hydrogen we haven't got. Irony. I mean, to be fair, I kind of expected that. We haven't really done a lot for hydrogen for a while. Right here, that's not a lot of our hydrogen. Still not a lot of hydrogen coming in, is it? But, you know, extra hydrogen does help. Right, and our resistances are not going up nearly quickly enough for my tastes. I might have done maths wrong. I have a feeling I did the maths wrong on this. Let me just double check this. Because it's feeling like those should have gone up more than they have, the radiation resistance, for example. So, let's see. We needed 65,000, wasn't it? Something like that. Let's have a look. This one. It wants 65,000. We have 48,800. No, that's 48,880. That's not quite right. Right? And then we get 2 per, which is fine. And then divided by 3,600. Oh no, 2.8 hours. Okay, well, alright, so I didn't do the maths wrong. That's good. Because it's 60 seconds, so it's 60 ticks per minute, 60 minutes per hour, so yeah, it's 2.8. Alright, so it's not going to go up, it's not accelerating. I thought that would increase, but it's not increasing, it's only going up by 2s. Right, look. I thought that'd start getting up to like 3s or something by now, but it's not, it's just going up by 2s. Our heat resistance going up quicker, but that's not. Which is disappointing. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Wait for it. Ding! Right, now, question for us. This one. We don't have enough of something. I just don't know what it is. Aluminium, because obviously it's aluminium. Why wouldn't it be anything else? Why would it be anything else? Oh, and we've got the titanium, we've got the hydrogen, we've got the water, we've got the energy. We're just missing out on 3 million. Well, not quite 2 million. And then we can get a prestige. I'll be honest, I don't know what a prestigium is. I don't think I've ever heard of a prestigium before. I think that's just a made-up term. Everything else is normal. I'm going to Google it. While I'm sitting here talking to you, I'm going to Google prestigium because I can. Prestigium. It helps if I spell it properly, right? Or delete the previous. Is that spelled right? Prestigium? Looks like it. Interesting. That doesn't look like it's what I'm looking for. It looks like prestigium is a type of paint. No, it's a scent. Yes, it's a scent. I don't know that that's actually what they mean it to be. Which is a shame. I was hoping it would be more spacey sounding. But we're nearly there. We're nearly at 35 million. Which means I can press the button soon. Well, hang on. What did that do to this? It didn't really change that very much. I was expecting that to go up more. Honestly, I was. Come on now, you can do it. Get to the point. Ooh. Right. That increased that quite a bit. But that was very expensive. It doesn't go up. It didn't go up. Amazing. Right, so how far are we now? 11%. That's interesting. So we can probably get 2 of these an hour, right? At this rate. I mean, it'll go up. It'll get more in terms of how much we, what's the word? Farm, harvest, whatever. These things will increase as we get better at it, right? Because I've just done that, right? Hang on, I should check the energy output. I mean, yeah, it's alright. We're gaining more energy than we're using. So that's not a problem. So we can just get prestigium as and when, right? It's not going to be a problem. This will give us 1 prestigium, roughly, if we're lucky. Because I'm going to keep pumping money into this one, right? And this will arrive at some point, I'm sure. Hang on. Where are we now? Yeah, I mean, like, that's not bad. We gained however many, 10 minutes worth of that. That was good. Look at that, we're nearly at a third of the speed of a light year per second. Which means we're going very quickly. I like it a lot. I much approve of being able to go this quickly. I still haven't worked out how we do this one. I mean, I have. We need more tachyons. And I don't know if that's... I mean, I'm guessing once we spend our tachyons on this, we won't have any tachyons. And therefore our speed will get set back to 0. I'm not sure I'm into it, if I'm honest. Although the Prestigium might change that. Let's have a look. Oh, whoops. Yeah. I mean, it did make a difference, right? And the bonus speed does not help, ironically. No more speed boosts for us for a while. Unlock the warp drive skill. That's what we want. That's what we want. But we don't have the tachyons to do it. But once we start getting the bonuses to this, right, that's going to make a big difference because our tachyons are going to go up quite significantly. Because that was at 3 million, and then is now up to 9 million, right? So let's see. So we're at 10 million tachyons a second. So 100 million to a billion. So every 100 seconds we get a billion. Alright, I mean that's not bad, right? And in the meantime, we'll be getting more aluminium, which is going to be good for us. And we don't really need this at the moment. At the moment, I say at the moment, because these numbers are going to go up. All of this number is going to go up. And once this gets silly, because it's getting silly already, right? That started at something quite small, and now it's not. Don't get me wrong, right? It is a slow and steady process, because look at how far we've come, right? We've travelled, where are we? We've travelled 76 paper folds. I don't know what this is referring to. But, I mean, we've travelled in terms of light speed 300,000 days. Like a long way. Like it's a very long way. I just want to be able to press this button. I want to press this button, game. Hurry up. There's nothing I can do at the moment. I mean, there is a few things we can do, right? Can we buy that yet? We cannot. I don't know that I should. Honestly. I mean, that's a significant slowdown, right? Because we're nearly at a third of a speed of... Oh, we're nearly at a third of a light year per second, which is silly fast now. Considering we were struggling to get to 0.1% of a speed of light. Sorry. Well, I mean, yeah, that's also true. Ah, Pomplamoose. Very nice. I can see why people, when they play these games on the internet, put edits in, right? But I was just hoping there'd be more. Hey, we've done the thing. So I'm going to press the button and look at just how minimal it is. Like, it's nearly 1,000 astronomical units per second, but it's not very far, right? Is it? Let's be honest. Like, when we're going 21,000, and when this runs out, we'll be going 20,000. It's not a big difference, is it? Although, now I think about it, if I do this, we can get much quicker. I mean, I assume we'll get much quicker. Right. I'm going to push this to 20. No, I'm not. That's probably enough. Because I want to keep going on this. Right, but really what we need I'm going to click that button for one, because we need way more aluminium. I should probably open a window actually, it's getting quite warm in here. I mean, even with my computer doing the thing, right, and it is doing the thing, like, what am I talking about? Nobody knows, because I haven't described it. It's doing the cooling, right? So it sucks in air and it blows air out, which is what I want it to do, right? Although now I feel it, I'm starting to think I've got the fan on at the back the wrong way around, which is an issue. I should probably change that round. I'll do it another day. I mean, I won't do it right this second, is what I mean. Because you have to turn it off, you have to destatic it, decharge it, and blah blah blah. And honestly, where it is, it shouldn't be an issue. Or at least one would hope. But it is pretty. I'm gonna have another look at it. Yeah, I think it's the wrong way around, you know. It's hard for me to see because of the nature of how these things are. It took me ages to work out which way the fans were in the first place. Just for the 3 intake fans, it took me ages to get them the right way around. But the cooling thing, you know, the cooling thing, the cooling unit. So I got an all-in-one AIO, like thermal cooling radiator thing for my CPU, right? And it's great. It does everything I need it to. However, like, I didn't have to worry about plumbing that in. That was very clear. Well, when I say plumbing in the loosest part, wiring it in, I suppose, and fitting it. Fitting it is probably the accurate. Installing it, maybe. But anyway, putting that in place, it was good. And it's producing loads of cold air. However, actually, that's nice and cooling on my hands, I tell you. I'm definitely going to have to, actually I'm going to have to buy that for so in my flat is currently quite warm. I don't have a thermometer to tell me, but it feels like it's like 24, 25 degrees, and we are only in April. Britain never used to get this warm, I'll be honest. And there's a number of reasons, and it's not just human based as far as I'm concerned, but, you know, I don't have the resources to link to a million different papers that I've read on the subject. What I would suggest is go to NOAA and the Geophysical Union and who's the other one that's really good? Oh no, I'd have to recommend you people via their actual names, and I don't remember all of them. But yeah, there's some really good articles on the like phys.org, for example, and the Geophysical Union, which is a really interesting website for climate science. And they talk about various cosmological influences as well as anthropological ones. So don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that anthropological climate change is not real, because it clearly is. But there is also a heliocentric point of view, if that's the correct way. Heliopomorphic, maybe? I don't know, like the sun has a bigger influence than people are giving it credit for, is what I'm getting at. And then the galaxy has an effect on the whole solar system as a whole, right? Now, I'm no expert. I'm really not. I did not get a degree in space weather, because that's essentially what it is. Like, we've got weather on our planets, just like Jupiter has weather on its planet, so does Neptune and Saturn and every other planet, except for maybe Pluto. I don't know. I haven't been there or seen enough photos to prove either way. But, you know, proper planets seem to have, for the most part, weather, because they have atmospheres, right? And those weather systems are also influenced by the way the sun behaves, and the sun it's within the sun, right? So as we saw, right? So if you look here, the solar system, it's got a big area around it, which is like the Oort cloud, past Pluto and that. Now, when we look at things like this, we can see that Pluto has, not Pluto, the whole solar system has its own form of weather, and it's not weather like we would understand it in terms of it causes rain, right? But it's more to do with the way the highly charged protons that are emitted from the sun interact with other planets, right? And our own planet. And then there's things on the outside of our solar system that influence the way the sun behaves, much like the sun can influence the way that the Earth behaves or Jupiter behaves, right? And it's very, very complicated, way more complicated than I can explain easily, right? Because I'm not a space weather scientist. But to assume that everything that we're going through is purely down to humans, I think is an arrogant position. I think that there's plenty we don't understand, and there is plenty of evidence to suggest that there is a bigger picture that we're not taking into account of. And, don't get me wrong, right? The evidence is clear. We are getting warmer during our summers, and we're getting colder in our winters and wetter in the spring and autumn. Now, it used to be more or less consistent rain in Britain. When I was a kid, it was consistent rain, more or less. If you had a nice year, right, everybody talked about the summer of 1976, right? And that was our good year. You get one every 50 years, they reckon. Well, I mean, we've had a good year, summertime, in Britain for the past 10 or 15 years. So there's clearly something going on, right? And there is definitely human interference with it. Like, we've chopped down a whole bunch of trees, we've changed the way that the wind flows because of it. There's erosion and less plant growth and more concrete and various other things, right? But also we know that there's stuff going on in the solar system. So I don't know if you remember last year, there were aurora. Now, aurora generally are only seen around the very edges of the Arctic Circle and above. So from the top of the Arctic all the way down to, during strong aurora, they come down to sort of the top of the Arctic Circle. Now, if you remember last year, there were aurora that were going as far as Delaware and Basingstoke, if you know that place. But like, it's a very British reference. But like, there was one that I believe went almost as far south as Florida, right? Now, in the old days, they believe, and this is based on whatever science and evidence that they want to put forward, but what I've read seems to suggest that during the Carrington solar storm event, which was pretty catastrophic for what it was, and had it gone off now, would have wiped out all of our electric grid, right? But they had aurora down to that sort of level. But the Carrington event that caused aurora to that level was caused by a solar flare that was, I think, maybe 30 times stronger than the solar flare that happened last year. But we still had the aurora coming all the way down, which is incredibly unusual. Like, it's not something we were expecting to occur, let's put it that way. So if that happens, the question is what's changed about our system? Ooh, water gains from mining asteroids out. Do I do it? I do it. Tee. What's changed about our system that's caused it to do so much of a change, right? Because it shouldn't have changed that much. Realistically, if it's not that level of solar flare, we shouldn't have that observable effect on Earth. Now, for all we know, all of our Wi-Fi and electric signals is changing our magnetic system, and that could be part of the problem. But we can see other planets starting to align their magnetic field, and this we can observe this through weather patterns and differences to observable atmospheric evidence on planets, right? They seem to be aligning their magnetic fields in a slightly different way. Now, interestingly, if you follow this information on our own planet, which you might be inclined to do so, I know I was. Can we press the button? No, of course not, because I already pressed it once. Yeah, but our Professor Elemental, fetch me my fighting trousers. Very good. It's a guy who does gentleman hip hop. He's British. He's very funny. Professor Elemental, very good. Fighting trousers, and he does one about a cup of tea, but I can't remember what it's called. Look him up. He's good. But yeah, like the way that the North Pole is moving seems to be accelerating, and it's accelerating towards the equator. Now, I don't know if that actually means a lot or if it only means a little, because correlation does not equal causation, right? But it is a thing, and there's a lot of weird sort of extra Earth sort of things that are occurring that make me go, I wonder if we've got the full picture. You know, it's like in the 1500s where, you know, you got a disease and somebody went, you're ill. And you go, yeah, I mean, that's why I came to see you. You're the doctor. I knew I was ill. And then the doctor went, well, I can see you clearly have boils. And then my response is, so it's another course of leeches, is it? And the doctor goes, so you're a medical man. Nice. Where did you get trained? You go, no, it's what you prescribed for me last time I had boils. You went, oh, right you are, I forgot. And then he gives you leeches, gets rid of the boils, and you're fine until the boils come back, right? Now, what this shows is we're looking at the symptoms, we're not looking at the cause. And, you know, roll on 450 years and suddenly, you know, you've got boils. That means you've got one of this sort of variety of infections. Let's test your blood and find out what's causing those infections and treat that cause, right? And then they treat the cause and you don't get boils ever again. No leeches required. I just think that maybe there's something in, like, the field of climate and space weather that makes me think that there's a much bigger picture going on. Now, like I say, I'm not an expert. I don't know what I'm talking about outside of all of the information I've read, but I'm not going to be able to summarize any of it succinctly or clearly in a manner that says one way or another. I'm just arguing that there's probably a greater level of complexity than what we are looking at. Because complexity is a wonderful thing when it's, you know, right. But with it being difficult because of how complex it is, it's very hard to get right, you know. And it's not to say there's nothing to it, because, you know, the guys who's prescribing leeches back for Shakespeare, right? He clearly was right. There was something wrong with you, and leeches seemed to do the job, so why not prescribe leeches? Because it got rid of the boil, didn't it? But it was an overly simplistic viewpoint, is what I'm getting at. And therefore, maybe we should be more cautious. It's like the thing that I was mentioning at was it the beginning of yesterday's episode or the previous episode? I don't know if I still haven't decided how I'm releasing this yet. But, you know, HX18B or HT18B, the planet that might have life on it, right? The methodology to find the information to suggest whether or not we are getting, we've found life, is so very complex that we can only be sure up to a certain level of percentage. But we can never be certain until we go there, right? Until you iron out some of the complexity into an easily found or easily demonstrable model. You know, as in, I can prove repeatedly that this is true in all circumstances. You know, say the reason why people accept gravity, right? I can drop a ball and it will do what the verb insinuates it will, as in fall to the floor. And it doesn't matter where I am on Earth, that is always true. And weirdly, when we went to Mars, not Mars, well, I mean, actually, it works on Mars as well. We've seen it with the rover. But when we went to the moon and they dropped things on the moon, they did a thing, I think it was with a hammer, it still fell towards the moon, right? Thereby, it looks like everywhere has gravity. Now, whether or not our understanding of what causes gravity is accurate is another thing entirely. But gravity is an observable phenomenon that we've called gravity that causes things to basically drop towards the ground, right? Now, it's kind of irrefutable, right? Doesn't mean that there's stuff we don't know about it, and that doesn't mean that there's not more to learn. And I mean, I love the learning process. I love finding out about this stuff. And you know, if I was the sort who was good at reading, for example, I would probably have written scripts on this, and then I would waffle on for hours about this subject to you in a succinct and concise manner where it's clearly easy to understand. But that's not me, right? I'm great in conversation, and I can throw you loads of references to loads of stuff that you can go and look up, and if you then have struggles understanding some of it, you can come back and talk to me. I mean, we do this in the pub all the time because I'm a nerd, and you know, that's fine, right? But I'm communicating to a wider audience, and I'm not going to tell you that I know what the answers are, because I don't. I just think there's levels of complexity we're not looking at. Like, I've looked at CMIP5 and CMIP4 and CMIP3, which are the Climate Modelling Initiative Programme. I think that's what CMIP stands for. And they're brilliant. They're really interesting tools. But they're very simple, right? And each one adds an extra layer of complexity to the previous one, which is fantastic, right? You want it to be extra levels of complexity, because it goes, oh, well, we didn't think about this before, and now we're thinking about this. You know, it's like, we used to have cars, right, that you had to wind the window down yourself. And then we got cars where you had to just press a button, because they had a little motor that wound it up and down for you. And then we got cars which had heated seats. Because before that, everybody complained about how cold your bum got during winter, but there was nothing we could do about it. My recent car, it's got a heated steering wheel for when I'm in winter and it gets very cold. I don't even have to wear driving gloves anymore. The only issue is, I could do with a heated gear stick, right? Everything else is warm, the gear stick is frozen like an icicle. You know, it'd be great to keep your sandwiches on a hot summer's day. Well, actually, no, you could fry an egg on a hot summer's day on a gear stick, right? But you know what I mean? Every iteration comes with a new thing of something we didn't think about. So cars have got increasingly more complex over time, because we've looked at it and gone, oh, that's a thing we didn't have before, and that'd be quite cool. Why didn't we think about it before? And somebody went, I don't know, let's deal with it now. And everybody went, yeah, that's a good idea. So they did. You know, so sunroofs. Sunroofs never used to be a thing, and then somebody why don't we put a window in the roof of the car? And everyone went, do you know, that's actually pretty clever. Get a bit of extra ventilation, it'd be nice, right? I remember when sunroofs weren't ever a thing. You either had a convertible or you had a normal car. There was no such thing as a sunroof. And then suddenly sunroofs came round and everybody went wild for them. But it's such an obvious thing, right? A window in the roof rather than a window just in the sides and the front and the back. Or the little electric motors that run your wing mirrors, right? Wing mirrors. Wing mirrors are really useful, provided nobody breaks them off, I suppose. That's less useful. But the point is wing mirrors are cool, in so much as, you know, something can be cool when it's part of a car. That depends on cars. Like, I'm not really bothered about cars. I like engineering. However, wing mirrors being made so that you just have a control button, so you don't have to get somebody else to do the passenger side one, because you can just fiddle with it while you're sitting in your regular driving position, right? it's amazing because now I don't even have to think about it, right? I can just adjust it ad hoc, right? Oh, I need a little bit more seeing the curb on that side. Oh, just press the button and it does it. I don't have to lean over, fiddle with it, try and sit back, see if that's good, and so on and so forth, right? But that's an extra level of complexity that cars never used to have, right? And it's the same with the CMIP models, right? Every time we get a new CMIP, we get a new level of complexity, which adds more information in. So if you look at CMIP 2 and 3, they almost laughed at you when you said, the sun might have something to do with the climate, right? And you look at CMIP 2, and it barely talks about the sun. You look at CMIP 6, and it includes quite a lot of information about the sun. And that's amazing, right? Because it's amazing. Including lots of information about the sun is a fantastic addition to it. What I can tell you, however, is that it doesn't include anywhere near as much information about the sun as quite a lot of physicists within the space weather community would be arguing for. And it's a slow battle, right? There's the argument of people will say, oh, well, the people used to believe the world was flat. Well, if they did, that's a regression, because in Greek times and Roman times, they knew that the world was circular. They could prove it mathematically due to shadows. And there's a simple test. You drill a hole into the ground and put a pencil in it. And as the sun goes round, the way that the shadow changes indicates that it is a sphere or a spheroid, because it wouldn't occur like that any other way, right? The way the shadow changes wouldn't occur like that if it was a flat surface, right? And you can prove it mathematically. You would have to have what's the best way to describe it? I can't do it without having a graph and some other bits to show you, and you'd be better off looking it up on Wikipedia. Honestly, I'm pretty sure it's on there. Even if it's not, you could Google it or Quora it or whatever. It's probably on Reddit or whatever else. Or any maths teacher, I would imagine, could probably show it to you. A level or above. So what's that? Is that sophomore? First year at uni for Americans? I don't know. College level in America would definitely, a college level mathematician would be able to show it to you, right? It's dead easy, really. And it must be pretty easy. They did it 3,500 years ago, right? And then there's the argument that somewhere in sort of 1500 to 1800, they believed the world was flat. Now, I don't know the veracity of that. I think that was actually more of a slur. As I understand history, I'm pretty sure that was more about a slur on, you're a bit of an idiot. I bet you believe the world is flat, right? Now, I'm going to tell you from my experience that the world is not flat. I haven't been into space, but I have been places where you can see the curvature of the Earth, because I've been very high up, right? Now, that is of no consequence to anything because it's anecdotal evidence, right? But as far as I can see, and as far as I can tell, we are on a spheroid, right? Now, if you want to believe the Earth is flat, and I got some friends who do, good for you. Go for it. You believe the Earth is flat. The evidence doesn't seem to support your argument, but I can't prove you wrong because I'm not going to try. It just doesn't seem logical to me from my experiences. Now, this has gone on a bit long, and I should probably stop, but I just really want to get that final 1 million aluminium, because that 1 million aluminium will give us another prestigium. But I'm not going to. I'm going to stop. Thank you very much for your time. All the best. I hope you're well. Bye.